talking about that with the Christian Athlete Spotlight. It's mine this week.
You did not do an NASCAR guy. There's no way.
I didn't.
Oh, that was so sad.
No, Kyle Larson. Just kidding. I have no idea if
I'm
he's a
going to do
Christian.
that.
But
Maybe I'll do that next week.
no, mine, it's technically Brock Purdy.
Oh, yeah. He had this really cool interview.
That's what it's from. So it's I don't know who the third person was in it, but I know it's Brock Purdy and Tim Tebow. The quote that I found comes from Tim Tebow, but it's talking directly about Brock Purdy.
Shocker.
Yeah.
If anyone can't tell,
Yeah.
shocker. Someone customs jerseys because he's in love.
Just a little. But
a little.
Because he's awesome. So why not? Anyways.
So this is not even a...
It is.
This isn't even Brock Purdy.
It's his story.
This is Tim Tebow.
But obviously everybody knows he was drafted the last pick in the draft by the 49ers. So he was quite literally passed on at least like 7 times by every single team. But what's cool, and the quote that I found it was Tebow talking about Purdy. Actually, sorry. I'll get to that in a second. But he's known as Mr. Irrelevant. That's obviously important.
The last draft. Yeah.
So that's just an important thing to know. And so Purdy was just kind of talking. He's like, I want to know why. Like, why was I picked last? He's like, I know obviously like God has a purpose for me, but like it just doesn't seem right. Like why wasn't I picked higher? And then Tebow goes on to say, he's like, well, God can turn pretty much anything into for his glory, for his purpose. And he's like, actually you being called Mr. Irrelevant is important because then Tebow says, watch how relevant his story is to me. So it's kind of turning that Mr. Irrelevant into being someone that's super relevant to all of us. So it's just showing how God can take someone lowest of lows, getting drafted, the 256 overall, but taking that story and making him into the player he is now. So obviously a very successful NFL quarterback, gone to the Super Bowl, didn't win it, but still it's showing how God can take pretty much anybody in any situation and turn around for his glory. So I just thought that was really cool because Purdy didn't and he also was behind 2 quarterbacks, being Trey Lance and Jimmy Garoppolo, if I'm remembering correctly.
He was never supposed to. Yeah, he was
never supposed to see the field.
Yeah.
But obviously comes in, is pretty dang good. I know a lot of people have said he's a system quarterback. Whatever. He's in the NFL. I don't really care any other than that. But it just
God
seems
system.
Yeah.
Get some.
It's just cool because God has a plan for each of us. Obviously, it's never going to be easy. It's not going to work out how we think it's going to work out. Obviously, him getting drafted last was not Brock Purdy's plan. Obviously, if you're going to the NFL draft, you want to be in the first round. Not going to happen for everybody. But it's just cool to see how you can literally take, quote unquote, what you think be the worst player in the draft and turn him into somebody that's not turned the 49ers around, but kept them as a playoff team, kept them in the conversation. Another thing that I thought was kind of cool, this is kind of separate from Brock Purdy, but thinking about like undrafted and drafted players, is Doug Baldwin. I think if you look at Doug Baldwin and see him as drafted in the second round, like his career is nothing compared to what it is. But he was an undrafted free agent, came here, super successful. We won a Super Bowl, probably one of the better receivers in the league during his time. Super good route runner. So it's interesting to see how like your story actually does make an impact on the type of player you are.
Well,
so if you're a first round pick, like you're gonna expect it.
Yeah, 100%. And I think you can also use your little buddy behind you. I think Tim Tebow was a very talented quarterback at Florida.
He's the opposite of Bart.
He is a first round pick, 25th overall. People touted him to be very, very, very good.
Yeah,
he was not very, 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 very good. He has one.
He also got kind of screwed.
Don't try to defend him. He was not good.
Dude,
in the NFL, he had one playoff win.
He also only started like 10 games.
I'm not saying he's not, but I'm saying he was not good enough. If he was good enough, he would have been playing. Okay, I'm just saying it. Like, look at Gardner Minshew, for instance. Like, I don't think he's good enough to really be a starter, but he is starting.
He's gotten opportunities, though.
That's fair. Tim Tebow wasn't good enough to get opportunities.
Okay,
that's the problem.
They had Peyton. They had the opportunity to sign Peyton Manning. Who wouldn't sign Peyton Manning?
My point still stands.
And then the Jets are the Jets.
My point still stands that Tim Tebow was touted to be very, very, very good.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And he was not very, very, very good. And he almost became a tight end, and then he went to try to play baseball. No, he did all these things before he actually retired and hung it up because obviously he loves the sport. But now he has seen it as, he's said it before himself. I don't know why Sam's defending him, which is fine. But he said it. I said I was a bad football player. I was a failure. I did not succeed in the NFL. I failed in the NFL. And he's used that to, whether it was on College Game Day when he was on College Game Day for as long as he was, or just preaching or whatever he has taken that story and that platform that he was able to build mainly at Florida to to grow this Christian faith, which is different than like Brock Purdy, where it was like you literally had no platform. You were never going to be a successful quarterback. You were never going to do this. You never, to now God putting you in this situation where hopefully he does pull off, I would love it if he pulled off more like CJ Stroud, where he does say, I give all the glory to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ right off the rip. But like you said, he's taking what he has been given by God to then move it up forward. So I do find it very interesting because they are on very totally opposite paths. Brock Purdy's been a successful quarterback. He was not supposed to be a successful quarterback. Some people was supposed to be a successful quarterback. He was not a successful quarterback. And they both have still found a firm foundation in God. And, I hope Purdy does.
There's like some music going on outside.
I was going to say, is that like a dog? We got some weird stuff going on. There's a frog somewhere downstairs. Now there's something going on outside.
Yeah.
But, I find it very interesting because they're just both very different perspectives and different ways to look at it. So
that was cool, though. I didn't even think about that, but that is definitely
Tim Tebow was not very good.
Sure.
How many jerseys do you have?
I don't even want to talk about it. It's bad.
How many years did he play? How many jerseys does he have?
So I have an Eagles for sure. Obviously, it's up here. I have the Patriots. I have three Broncos.
You have a Florida one.
Florida, yes. I have Eagles.
Do you have a Jets?
I have a Jets.
Didn't he play for the Hawks for a second?
No, that's it. Because it was Broncos, Jets, Eagles, Patriots, Jags.
That's crazy.
Thanks for listening to the Kinda Athletic podcast. Please like and subscribe to all our social media platforms and make sure to come back next week to hear more from the Kinda Athletic podcast.